He's the best man. He's the finest man. We appreciate your presence on Fox Live now. Our newsroom has breaking news to report. At 76, British rock star Ozzy Osbourne has died. Have we ever known Ozzy Osbourne, the guy behind the Myth, Roar, and Prince of Darkness crown? See the human narrative through the musician who stood off his shoulder for decades. Stay with me. This is an honest, heartfelt tribute to a heavy metal-defining friendship and a lasting message. It's not scandalous. A genuine love letter. The headlines describe the massive stages, crazy tours, and inability to separate mythology from life. You may get the intimate truth about Ozzy Osbourne by listening to those who were close to him when the lights went off and the crowd went home. Few can speak to that truth like Zakk Wylde. Zakk joined Ozzy's universe in 1987 with his Les Paul and Lion's Heart. He was 20 and ravenous, with a siren-like vibrato and a concrete-splitting tone. Records that changed heavy metal chronicle their early years. No Rest for the Wicked, 1988. Stop Crying, 1991, 1995, Osmosis. Their friendship chapters, not album titles. Studio days turned into tour nights, and a musical partnership became a family bond. Sometimes in the same hour, Ozzy was brash, rude, humorous, self-deprecating, and incredibly kind. Zakk equaled him in sincerity, loyalty, and playing for the song, not the spotlight. People outside the circle see Ozzy as chaos. Voice, bat narrative, mayhem. Ask his close collaborators, and you'll hear a different story. They describe a man who said, "Thank you," often, worried about others, and joked to relax. They talk about Ozzy, the spouse, who loved Sharon, and the father who cried when his kids were proud. My pal Ozzy always called back. Sometimes he forgot, yet always delivered when needed. Of course, Ozzy the bandleader expected heart and soul on stage because he gave it. Check the timeline for bond proof. Zakk returned several times. His music career took him to Black Label Society, Sabbath, and Pantera, replacing the late Daryl. But Zakk Sky always had Ozzy. Ozzy called Zakk for homey sounds. When asked what made him feel at home, Zakk said trust in addition to job. Progressed years. Spotlight never left. Life did what it does. Everything became complex. Ozzy's body suffered. He revealed his Parkinson's diagnosis in 2020, but he'd been dealing with past injuries for years. Shows dropped and hospitals increased. The jokes lasted. Gratitude persisted. Music was off, but body was honest. It gave him bad news. Even then, Ozzy fantasized of one last roar with his brethren. The dream came reality in Villa Park, Birmingham, on July 5, 2025. Back to the Beginning was his goodbye in his hometown. Ozzy emerged as a human who had given all, not the monster from your childhood poster. He sung from a bat-winged, black, gothic, and bold throne because his body enabled it. When he sat down, the stadium rose. Guitars burned. It rained riffs. The genre-defining songs flowed across the night like a steel flood. Zakk attended. Guitarist and guardian. See it in the footage. Nearer Ozzy than normal. Shifting eyes, hands ready. Ozzy's stage setup took into account his immediate needs. That attitude is familiar to anyone who has helped someone through a tough time. Not star behavior. Families act that way. Backstage was Zoo. Ozzy's images, embraces, and hasty remarks were sought by all. Zakk made an intuitive choice. Allow the old lion to breathe and catch up the next day when the world is quieter. That there wouldn't be a next day to catch up surprised him. Not as he expected. Ozzy texted after the sounds and lights stopped. Simple, human, and pure message. I apologize for the disruption. I appreciate everything. When words must lift, two brothers say love. The brief statement wasn't stagecraft. Ozzy Osbourne died at 76 on July 22, 2025, 17 days after his last performance. Thunderclap and echo, the news came. Ozzy Osbourne, the founder of British heavy metal, Black Sabbath leader, and TV star, died after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. Shock rippled through music and memory. People who never bought a metal record can recall where they first heard Crazy Train. Myths, jokes, and rumors about his life vanished. The husband, father, friend, frontman, who dedicated his body and voice to the stage long after most people left, stayed. Zakk expressed gratitude and simplicity after Ozzy's death. He praised Ozzy for blessing humanity. He pointed to reality, not myth. He discussed what mattered most in that last show. Ozzy performing in his hometown with fans that loved him. The chaos backstage didn't matter. Missed hug didn't matter. The thanks did. Love did. Zakk's deeper message is audible if you listen. Ozzy Osbourne, the man, developed the symbol by showing up, not by being flawless. He sang through pain. When the headlines indicated he was done, he worked. He strove to be a better spouse, parent, and friend. Sorry, he said. He thanked you. He always supported others around him. The whole Zakk narrative sits upon that foundation. Rewind to 1988. Zakk, a teenage guitarist, tracks guitars on No Rest for the Wicked, a job most guitarists would sell their souls for. Pressure from Ozzy could have crushed him. Instead, he lifted him, made fun of him. After pushing him hard, he commended him. Between the absurdities and adrenaline, Ozzy checked in on tour. You okay? 2 words, you're not alone. Zakk brought that to every band, tour, and friendship. Jump to 1991. No More Tears has a title pull theme and a long, brilliant solo. A highlight of their live shows is the title track. Dark and painful, yet hopeful. That song embodies their relationship. Pain became power, sadness lifted by a powerful hand. Side effects included videos, accolades, and money. Their relationship made them bigger than themselves. Zakk organizes Black Label Society, creates his own realm of sound, and promotes hard music in clubs and arenas worldwide. Ozzy is the original Chapel, but Riff's altar remains illuminated. The spark is still there when he phones Zakk in 2017. On stage, they sink into gravity. Ozzy the ringmaster and Zakk the right hand carve the air until it shakes. People love to know Ozzy's actual self. Here's reality. He was wickedly funny, dry as a bone, then laughing like an adolescent. He was kind too. Though he could chew you up, he'd give you a coat on a cold night and make sure you ate. He was prouder of his family than his survival. He loved Sharon, argued, reconciled, and supported her. The man loved his kids. The circle he formed was trustworthy. He was kind to strangers when the cameras stopped rolling. The final show mattered. Not because of show, though there was enough, but because of active love. A city thanked its son, a band remembered, and an audience saw him. Zakk wasn't supposed to shine then. To support Ozzy's voice, it kept the flame burning. Watch him bend his guitar slightly toward the throne and tweak his pedal board to get the appropriate sound. At Ozzy's ear, that's not micromanagement. It cares. The final text. Think about it. The last songs, bows, and headlines are remembered in rock history. The last intimate remarks frequently expose the full person. Ozzy told Zakk unscripted after that show. It was short. 2 themes ran through it. I'm sorry I missed you. I appreciate everything. 10 words for humility and thankfulness. True. Everyone and their mother were in the backstage dressing room, so I wanted to give him a rest. I expected to see him later, tomorrow, or something. However, Oz's last text said, Zakky, sorry, it was like a madhouse back there. Not seeing you. He leaves, thanks for everything. Just us conversing. Saying I love you buddy was enough. Responsibility runs deep in Zakk's tribute. He sounds like he understands that gifts are debts. What he says about being blessed and appreciative isn't a cliche. A mission statement. Because Ozzy gave him life, not just work. He set a benchmark. He provided him a non-chart, gear, or magazine cover way to measure himself. Support your folks. Try harder. Laugh when you can. Say thanks. Despite your worst days. Ozzy's dying weeks were filled with public love. Fans surrounded bridges. Musicians shared recollections on social media. The family huddled. His hometown held a funeral procession. A floral wave and a chorusing street. Drama is absent. Respect's gentle murmur lingers. Zakk didn't write or perform about his pain. His actions were more honest. Out loud, he remembered. He highlighted the crucial message. He narrated the story simply so everyone could see the man he knew. Another reality between the lines. Ozzy's courage pierced through all the myths that cling to him like stage fog. Courage to admit his pain. Courage to stand or sit on stage and offer his all. Courage to apologize honestly. Courage to say thank you sincerely. Zakk's pauses, emotions, and careful wording when talking about last night aren't about celebrities. Seeing courage firsthand and feeling blessed are the themes. After his death, musicians continue to call Ozzy a mentor, friend, father figure, and inspiration. He had Street Fighter reflexes and host heart. He was uncensored, sometimes too much, and interested. He adored guitars. He adored excellent singers. He enjoyed the pulse of a crowd when thousands of strangers speak together. Loved his lovers. Zakk can make headlines without inventing Ozzy's truth. He must replicate Ozzy's lifelong work. His enthusiasm is high. She told the BBC in February about seeing the guys and his friends again. It thrills everyone. Last concert seemed like a wrap for a reason. Not only did everyone know something was ending, it's that Ozzy always made circles. He gathered the wounded and restless, Kids who were too loud for their rooms and odd for school. He housed them in a sound wall. Zakk learned the concept early and applied it to every stage. In his rooms, misfits fit. That's inheritance. Even the setting was narrative. Villa Park, Birmingham. Ozzy first imagined a different existence in the metropolitan sky. Peers and disciples filled the platform, and cameras were everywhere. Yet the most powerful image was small. A hand, reaching out to steady a friend, nodding thanks between songs, and smiling to say we're still here. The throne wasn't weak. A throne. A king sits, sings, and bows. The crown that night was humility. Later grief was loud and quiet. The tributes, street memorials, Sabbath, and solo radio blocks were loud. Silence where his co-workers stared at a guitar case without opening it. Zakk grieved like working musicians. He played the music, spoke the stories, and repeated Ozzy's thanks to the world that given him a place to stand. He didn't hide or exploit his unhappiness. He utilized it. We are devastated to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne died this morning. His family and love surrounding him. Please keep our family privacy during this time. Service. Rock and roll rarely uses that word, but it's right. Services to songs, fans, and foundation builders. Under Zakk's recollections of Ozzy is a pledge. I'll carry this, kindness, humor, and discipline that says there's no such thing as a little gig if you're playing for someone's last night out this year. He honors Ozzy by following his example, not by replacing him. There was no grand speech in the last message. It was text. That's ideal. Life isn't just about huge moments. Repeated little ones form it. Zakk knows. Ozzy lived it. One more, sorry. Once more, thanks. Again, love you, friend. Zakk's Ozzy revelations are there. Public and private Ozzy were the same person, but scaled for the room. The man who could command a stadium could also transmit a message that would make a grown man cry. Those who watched the closing show or the tributes will remember a few images. Ozzy's pale knuckles holding the throne arms, voice steady, Zakk's guitar angled like a shield. Sharon stared up to the stage with bright eyes. Grandparent-sized fans carried kids to see history. Though loud, the exit was respectful. Though imperfect, it was honest. It wasn't fatal. It was thankfulness. Zakk leads us to thankfulness. He doesn't say Ozzy was saintly. He says Ozzy thanked you when it mattered. He doesn't say Ozzy never failed. He says Ozzy kept trying and laughed when the body indicated stop. New icons aren't painted. Wiping dust off the old one reveals the eyes. His family and love surrounding him. His family, wife Sharon, children Kelly, Jack, and Louis Osbourne. The death of a heavy metal pioneer assists explain what transpired. The numbers and headlines are important, but a brief chat between two friends after a meaningful night is what matters. Zakk has taken that encounter into every statement since, reducing the universe to appreciation and love. Another student became a brother and translated Ozzy's last lesson. This is what Zakk has left. Cityscape of songs that will outlive us all, stack of memories he can't play on stage, final text he'll never remove, and a mandate to keep the spirit alive. Be the man who shows up, cares, thanks, forgives, and laughs. Riffs matter because people do. Nobody taught that better than Ozzy. No one learned it better than Zakk. Some people prefer a harsher truth, a betrayal, or secret division. Zakk rejects the tale. He doesn't fear hard times, but he doesn't sacrifice his friends for rumors. His truth is worse. It urges us to assess greatness by gift and return. What is courage? Refusing to quit. And the ability to apologize after a hard night. It suggests that heavy metal's heart is heavier than its sound. Zakk's description of Ozzy as an older brother goes beyond a position. He's describing a way of being that passes from generation to generation, like a record riff that changes a kid's life. Ozzy altered Zakk's life. Zakk currently transforms lives. The story continues even when the main voice is silent. Don't stop at tropes to understand Ozzy's role in rock history. The discipline under the pandemonium, the compositional anxieties that kept him seeking a chorus that would last decades, and the work ethic that got him back on stages he shouldn't have been on. Loyalty that kept his circle together despite fame's ravages. Zakk repeats that beneath the eyeliner and pyrotechnics was a craftsman and buddy who lived to thank the attendees. Zakk understands best that sadness and appreciation are twins. One enables the other. Both are in his voice when he remembers. Both are evident in his grip on the guitar he first played in Ozzy's band. You can feel both in how he keeps songs alive without mausoleumizing them. Memory's not a museum. A stage. The lights remain warm. That's what Zakk Wylde has lovingly revealed about Ozzy Osbourne. Another myth wasn't needed by Ozzy. He must be seen as is. He gave, thanked, and loved big. Last time he played, He repeated everything. Last time, he texted a pal again. Zakk will be remembered by his eyes and words. What matters? Last show in hometown stadium. The final text was sorry, thank you, and I love you. A friendship that shelters sound. The genuine Ozzy Osbourne. Zakk Wylde tells us the truth. Plain, humble, sturdy. If this touched you, tell me your favorite Ozzy line or experience. What song will you play tonight to boost his volume?